The first sign that something was wrong came on a quiet Monday morning. It's the kind of morning Americans associate with routine coffee brewing, cars backing out of driveways, mailboxes waiting to be opened. In a small Toronto apartment overlooking a busy street, Ethan Parker refreshed his phone screen for the third time in a minute. Social media was flooding with the same image: a cream-colored wedding invitation. Gold letters shining softly under kitchen lights, captioned with joy and excitement. The names were Clerian Parker and Claire Mitchell. His brother's wedding. Everyone seemed to have it. Everyone but him. Ethan felt the moment land in his chest like a sudden drop. Not sharp pain, not anger, just a heavy, sinking truth. He scrolled again, hoping to find proof that he was wrong. Cousins, old neighbors, college friends. Even people Ryan barely spoke to anymore were posting photos of the invitation, smiling, tagging locations, making plans. Ethan set the phone down and stared at the ceiling, where morning light spread slowly, like it didn't care what it revealed. Ryan was his younger brother by 2 years. Growing up in Ohio, they had shared a room, shared secrets, shared dreams. They were the kind of brothers people talked about, the ones who defended each other on playgrounds, who stayed up late planning futures that felt limitless. When Ethan left for college, Ryan was the one who cried at the bus station. When Ryan announced his engagement years later, Ethan was the first person he called. Or at least, he used to be. Life had shifted quietly after that. No big fight. Dramatic falling out. Just unanswered calls, delayed replies, holidays that felt shorter each year. Ethan moved to Canada for work, chasing a career that wasn't flashy but felt right to him. Ryan stayed closer to home, building a life that fit neatly into expectations. Over time, the distance between them grew from miles into silence. Still, Ethan never imagined this. He checked his mailbox that afternoon, even though he already knew it would be empty. Flyers, bills, no envelope. No mistake. The absence itself was the message that evening as traffic hummed below his balcony. Ethan poured himself a drink and let memories run freely. He remembered Ryan asking him years ago, "You'll stand next to me at my wedding, right?" Ethan had laughed and promised he would. He wondered when that promise stopped mattering, or if it ever did to anyone but him. His phone buzzed just after dinner, a text from their mother. "Did your wedding invitation arrive today?" Ethan stared at the message longer than necessary. He could lie, make it easier for her. Instead, he typed back honestly. Double quotes, "No, I didn't get one." The reply didn't come right away. When it did, it was short. "Oh, that's strange." It wasn't strange. Ethan knew that. He felt it deep down. He didn't press her. He didn't call Ryan. Pride held him still, but so did something else: clarity. If his brother wanted him there, he would have made it clear. The next few days passed fast. Work deadlines, meetings, rain tapping against windows. Ethan kept busy, but the thought followed him everywhere. At night, he dreamed of childhood summers and woke with a tight throat. During the day, he smiled through conversations while something quietly shifted inside him. Ryan's wedding became the topic of every family call. Venues, menus, guest lists. Ethan listened when he had to, spoke when expected, and stayed silent when it hurt. No one directly mentioned his absence. It hovered there, unspoken, like a crack everyone hoped would close on its own. One evening, Ethan received an unexpected email from an old family friend congratulating him on being part of such a beautiful family event. Ethan didn't respond. He closed his laptop and stood by the window again, watching people walk by below, all carrying lives no one else could fully see. What no one saw was that Ethan had changed in the years away. He wasn't lost or struggling, as some quietly assumed. He had built something meaningful: a steady career, a calm life, a sense of self that didn't rely on approval. He had learned to stand alone. He had learned grace. And he had learned that being overlooked didn't mean being small. Still, the hurt was real. A week before the wedding, Ethan finally heard directly from Ryan, but not the way he expected. It was a group message sent to extended family, reminding everyone of travel details and schedules. Ethan read it twice, noting his name was nowhere in the thread. No private follow-up. No explanation. That night, Ethan made a decision. He booked a flight. Not out of anger, not to confront anyone. Because he refused to let silence define him. He wanted to see his brother marry the woman he loved. He wanted closure, if nothing else. And he wanted to face the moment instead of running from it as the plane lifted off days later. Ethan looked out the window at the clouds stretching endlessly below. He didn't know how he would be received. He didn't know if he would even be welcomed inside the venue. But for the first time since seeing those invitations online, he felt steady. Sometimes the strongest move isn't demanding a place. It's showing up whole, whether invited or not. And as the wedding day approached, one thing became clear. Everyone thought they knew the story. They had no idea how it would really unfold. The wedding morning arrived bright and sharp, the kind of clear American fall day that makes everything feel important. Cars lined the graveled drive of the lakeside venue in upstate New York. Music drifted from inside. Laughter carried across the water. It was supposed to be a perfect day, and by all outside signs, it was. Then a black sedan turned off the main road. Ethan Parker sat in the back seat, hands relaxed, eyes forward. He wasn't nervous the way people expected him to be. The fear had already burned out during the long nights of silence. What remained was calm. He had made his choice. Whatever happened next, he would face it standing straight. As the car slowed near the entrance, guests gathered near the doors, paused mid-conversation. Some recognized him right away. Others felt something shift without knowing why. The car stopped. The door opened. Ethan stepped out. He wore a simple dark suit, clean lines, no show. He didn't look like someone trying to prove a point. He looked like someone who already knew his worth. His posture was easy, his expression steady. He glanced at the building, the lake, the people. This was his family's world. He had never truly left it, no matter how far he went. Whispers moved fast. Is that Ryan's brother? I thought he wasn't coming. Didn't they stop talking? Inside the venue, Ryan Parker adjusted his tie, heart racing for reasons he couldn't explain. The day was moving quickly. Guests were arriving. Claire stood nearby, glowing, calm, ready. Everything was on schedule. Then Ryan heard his name. He turned just as Ethan crossed the doorway. For a moment, sound dropped out of the room. Ryan's face shifted from confusion to shock, then to something deeper and harder to name. Old memories rushed in all at once. Late-night talks, shared jokes. Years of trust built before distance took over. Ethan stopped a few steps away. He didn't force a smile. He didn't look away either. I won't interrupt, Ethan said. Simply, I just wanted to wish you well. In person. Ryan swallowed. I didn't think you'd come. I wasn't invited, Ethan replied, his voice calm, not accusing. The words landed softly but firmly. Claire looked between them, sensing the weight in the air. Around them, guests pretended not to watch while watching closely. Ryan nodded. Slowly, I didn't know how to reach out. Things felt complicated. Ethan gave a small nod. They were, but today isn't about that. For a second, it looked like the moment would end there. Ethan took a step back, ready to leave. If needed. He had said what he came to say. Then Ryan did something no one expected. Wait, he said. Stay. The word hung in the room, clear and honest. Claire smiled gently. Your family, she added. You belong here. Ethan looked at them, surprised but steady. He didn't rush the answer. He didn't make it dramatic. He simply nodded. All right. A quiet release moved through the space. His mother, standing near the aisle, covered her mouth, eyes shining. No one clapped, no one spoke. Life simply continued, but changed direction. Ethan took a seat near the back as the ceremony began. He didn't need the front row. He didn't need attention. Being present was enough. As vows were exchanged, Ethan listened closely. Ryan's voice shook at first, then steadied. Claire's words were warm and sincere. Promises were made, not loudly, but with care. Watching them, Ethan felt something unexpected, not loss, but peace. This wasn't a reminder of what he had missed. It was proof that love could move forward without erasing the past. When the ceremony ended, applause filled the room. Music followed, conversations restarted, lighter now. Guests smiled more freely. The tension had lifted. At the reception, Ethan stood near the edge of the room, nursing a drink, observing. People approached slowly. An aunt here, a cousin there. Some hugged him. Some apologized without saying why. Ethan accepted it all with grace. He wasn't there to reopen wounds. He was there to close one. Later, Ryan found him on the terrace overlooking the lake. The sun was setting, painting the water gold. "I owe you an explanation," Ryan said. Ethan shook his head. "You don't owe me anything tonight." Ryan leaned against the railing. "I thought distance made things easier. I thought if I didn't look too closely, I wouldn't have to face what changed." And Ethan asked. "And I was wrong," Ryan said quietly. "You didn't disappear. You just grew." Ethan smiled slightly. "So did you." They stood in silence, comfortable in a way they hadn't been for years. Not fixed, not perfect, but real. Inside, the first dance began. Music floated out toward them. "I'm glad you came," Ryan said. "Even if I didn't know how to ask." Ethan nodded. "I'm glad I didn't wait to be asked." They returned to the room together. As the night went on, laughter grew louder. Stories were shared. Old photos were passed around. Ethan didn't stay late. He didn't need to. Before leaving, he hugged his mother, shook Ryan's hand, then pulled him into a brief, firm embrace. "Call me," Ethan said. Ryan nodded. "I will." When Ethan stepped back outside, the air was cool and clear. He walked toward the waiting car, feeling lighter than he had in a long time. He hadn't shocked them by showing up. He had surprised them by how he showed up with calm, with dignity, with no demand for anything more than truth. As the car pulled away, the lights of the venue faded behind him. The story people would tell wasn't about a missing invitation anymore. It was about the brother who arrived quietly, stayed honestly, and left having already won something far more important than a seat at the table.